All right, welcome to the limiting belief release activity. My name is Katie, and you can find me on social media at your mental health mentor. I am so proud of how far you've come already simply by following your intuition and taking aligned action towards where you're truly meant to be in this life. I hope you're excited to dig deep today and release the beliefs that are holding you back from truly thriving. Let's get started. So, I want to briefly remind you of how the mind works to allow you to have a deeper understanding of where our limiting beliefs come from. So we may be aware of what we're experiencing consciously, but our conscious mind only influences 5% of our reality. It's actually our subconscious minds that are influencing 95% of our reality. Isn't that crazy? So, no wonder it can be challenging to understand why we feel and do things the way we do, and to actually change our thought patterns and behaviors. So, as we're living our conscious lives, we're not doing anything wrong when we're trying to heal. We're often just looking in the wrong place for the right answers. So, I'm not going to go through this information today since it was in the Thirst to Thrive movement webinar that you saw, but I do want to highlight a key piece of the subconscious mind. It is wired to move away from pain and towards pleasure or familiarity, which is why it can be so challenging to step out of our comfort zones. So, becoming aware of how the subconscious mind develops these beliefs can help us understand our limiting beliefs, neutralize the feelings attached to them, and release them from having control over our reality. So, a belief will become anchored into our subconscious minds when we experience something that creates a feeling of danger in our body. So, these are often created just to keep us safe. When we feel this response of danger in our everyday lives, it means something in our environment is triggering us. So it can become extremely easy for our conscious minds to get so wrapped up into reality that it thinks there is a threat to our life when we may not be experiencing an actual threat at that moment. So when we experience something traumatic, it can often stick with us, right? This is where the stories we tell ourselves develop because our subconscious mind is trying to help us avoid danger. So we tell ourselves these stories that will inevitably keep us in our comfort zones. So by gaining awareness, we can start to tell the difference between a real life threat and a perceived threat that isn't actually threatening our lives. So I'll give you an example. Let's say in my past, I experienced someone pointing a gun at me, which is a serious life threatening experience. But later on in life, I attended college, and now I'm noticing that when a teacher points at me, I feel extreme anxiety. My heart is racing, I'm sweating, and I'm frantic, and I have to step out of the room. So my body will react the same way because my mind is sending me a signal to keep me safe. But in reality, I'm not in serious life threatening danger when my teacher points at me, right? That is just the trigger. Hope that makes sense. So, when we are releasing our limiting beliefs, there may be some things that come up. But don't worry, this means that you are on the right path. So, first, I believe it's so important to completely surrender to this process. Oftentimes, when we're changing something, we can see the foundation that we built in our lives crumble a little bit because they were built upon limiting beliefs, aka lies. You are limitless. So, take a deep breath and allow it to happen. You may see some resistance come up as well. Why? Because again, evolving can feel scary. It's expanding outside of our comfort zones, right? I'll give you an example. For me, resistance shows up like this. As soon as it's time to sit down and work on myself, do something that may not feel so comfortable, suddenly the dishes need to be done. There's laundry to do. And before I know it, I'm off organizing my entire junk drawer. Don't pretend you don't have one of those. So let me tell you, it's not like I overly enjoy cleaning, but that is my subconscious mind being wired to move away from pain and towards pleasure and familiarity. So pay attention to how resistance comes up for you, however it may show up, because this work is much more important than any load of laundry. I'll promise you that. So, lastly, I want you to understand that everyone has their own divine timing. Everything will happen for you in the perfect timing that it's meant to. So, try not to rush this process, but just trust it. So, there's one last concept I want you to note before we dive in. Our feelings and our beliefs are always tied together. So now that we have a better idea of how our beliefs are formed and work, I want you to understand that our feelings are simply just biochemical shifts in our bodies that have been triggered by something in our environment. So they kind of end up in this cycle where how we are feeling in our bodies have the ability to create and anchor our beliefs. And our beliefs have the ability to create a biochemical shift in our feelings within our bodies. So, this is why it's so important to understand that we need to allow ourselves to feel the feels within this process because we need to feel to heal. No, seriously, we cannot uproot a belief without neutralizing these feelings. So just remember, allow yourself to feel the feels here because if you are resisting the feelings, it can actually flow more of your energy into this limiting belief. And then you actually manifest more situations that create this feeling. So we do not want that. All right, so I am so excited for you to release your limiting beliefs and soar into your potential. This is a tool that you can come back to within every moment in your journey that you feel stuck in, or you just want a deeper understanding of what's going on. So I have to give credit here to Tony Robbins for this analogy that we're going to use, and Catherine Zenkina for a lot of the concepts that are intertwined into this activity. If you don't know who those people are, I definitely recommend checking out the resources that they have on your spare time. But this is basically my rendition of an exercise that uses Tony's analogy to help you identify, understand, break down, and completely release the limiting beliefs that are holding you back from where you are truly deserving to be. So I want you to take your time with this activity, as the more energy you put into this, the more impactful it will be. Okay, there are 9 steps to this formula, so grab your water, grab your notebook and pen, and let's get to the good stuff. So you might be wondering, Katie, how the heck do I even know what my limiting beliefs are? So now that you've seen the opportunity with Enagic and the Thirst to Thrive movement, you should be able to envision yourself finding some success here. So what does that success look like? Take a moment to reflect and write down your absolute dream life, and do not hold back here. Go big. If you like, you can close your eyes and picture what your dream day or your dream life would look like. I'm going to give you some prompts to help you create this vision. So if you need to, feel free to pause the video wherever you need to really take your time and get deep with this step. All right, here we go. So where would you be living and with who? Are you married? Do you have kids, pets? Or are you just simply in love with your own solitude? What would you spend your time doing? How would you be pouring into your mental health? Are you taking care of your mental health full time? Or do you have an empowering mission of your own? What emotions would you be feeling? Have you healed from any mental health or other health conditions? Are you confident? Happy? How much money do you have flowing in? Are you financially free? Are you debt free? What kind of car would you drive? What clothes would you be wearing? Or where would you travel to? What would you do with complete time and location freedom? And what kind of impact are you making on the world? All right, if you need to, pause this part and take some time to get clear on your desires. So step one is acknowledgement. So now that you have your crystal clear dream life envisioned, I want you to reflect on this. What is something you currently desire within this vision that you deep down don't believe is 100% possible for you? So once you have that limiting belief that is holding you back, I want you to consider the emotions or feelings that are coming up within this process. Just jot them down alongside your observations. Take a moment to write down what is coming up for you. So we're gonna make a table looking diagram. So start by writing your limiting belief in a rectangle at the top of your page. Now we are going to list out all of your possible reasons as why it's not possible for you. Consider all of the angles, reasons that come from society, that come from your family, that come from your culture, your friends, your online haters, anywhere they come up for you. So now for each reason, you're going to attach a line to your limiting belief. And just, it's going to look like a table. So just like the leg of a table, these are going to be your supporting evidence that helps hold this limiting belief up. So I want you to continue asking yourself, why? Why are you so stressed or frustrated or fearful, doubting when it comes to this area of your life? Why do you feel triggered by certain things in your environment? Keep asking yourself, why? Try adding a because after the supporting evidence to really allow the depth here. So step two is reasons why it's not possible. What I want you to do here is make it personal. What do these reasons mean to you? The more personal and the more deeper these reasons are, the more effective this activity will be. So if you're having a bit of a hard time coming up with this evidence, I've listed some prompts below to help. So feel free to underline the ones that feel the most powerful for you as you're writing these down as your supportive evidence. If you need to, pause here to list out all of your supporting evidence as your table legs now. But before we move forward, I want to point out that all of these reasons that you've written down are actually your supporting beliefs that you have. On that note, let's allow this to tie into the next step. So leave your table as is and make a new space for a T chart and label the first column as benefits. Now let's reflect. What are you gaining from believing these lies? What benefits are there to believing this lie or made up story? Be as absolutely honest as you can here. This is going to allow you to unlock a lot of your subconscious programming and help you truly understand why this limiting belief is holding you back. So step 4 is the consequences. So in the other column of your T chart, I want you to label it as consequences. This is where I want you to list out all of the painful consequences that you will experience if you choose to continue to believe this limiting belief. This is where we gain leverage. So focus on, what are you missing out on by believing these made up lies? Where will you be in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years if you keep believing that this is true? Now, I also want you to reflect on this. How will these lies negatively impact the ones you love most in your life? It's not just about you, it's about the people around you as well. So list out all of the consequences you can think of now. If you need to pause the video, do that now. So by step 5, I hope all of this work has given you at least a bit of an aha moment. And if it hasn't, I want you to stop and look carefully at everything you've written down. Do you really need these benefits in your life? Are they helping you expand into your best self? And take a look at those consequences. Is it really worth it to accept those benefits and deal with the consequences for the next 5 to 20 years of your life? This is where we have the perspective shift. We suddenly have awareness of what and why we are feeling limited here, which brings us to step 5, which is neutralize. So, this is where we are releasing the emotions that are attached to this belief. We are cutting that energetic cord within. So, what this does is loosen your limiting belief from your subconscious mind, allowing you to look at it more objectively. So, for this step, we're going to utilize some tools to release your emotions that are attached to this belief. So there's a lot of ways you can do this step. So if you're curious, feel free to look into these resources that I've listed here on your own time. But for the sake of simplicity within this activity, we're going to use journaling as our neutralizer. You know how it can just feel so good to vent to a close friend? Well, now is your time to vent to your notebook. So, whatever is coming up, journal it the F out without judging, editing, or overthinking it. This isn't for anyone but yourself. Now, I do realize that for some, writing is a bit of a challenge. So, if this isn't a possibility for you, all good. You can record a voice note and still allow it to come out. You can also look into the other tools that are listed. But if you have the ability to write, I do recommend it as writing is very therapeutic. So there was actually a study done that I wanted to share with you that I've sourced below in case you want to look at it yourself, where a university instructor told his students to journal every day for 15 minutes. So a group of these students were instructed to write about their most traumatic experience of their entire life or any emotional issues they've faced. So at the end of this study, I believe it was 6 months later, he found that the students that wrote about the deeper emotional topics had decreased anxiety, depression, pain, and stress, and they actually improved their memory, immune function, sleep quality, social life, and work performance. But what was most interesting that these benefits all came after some time. And while these students were going through the motions of journaling and immediately after, they were experiencing higher anxiety, higher heart rate, and more intense emotions because they are coming up to be let out. So, when you compound these emotions over time, they can look more intense as we are releasing them. So, it is totally okay and you are totally safe to allow these emotions to come up and simply process them. So, pause the video now and journal it the F out. And remember to feel the feels here. So now it is time to dissect your limiting belief. We are going to put the supporting evidence or your legs of your table under a microscope. And our goal here is to prove them wrong. Because if you have no legs, there is no table. There will be nothing left to support this limiting belief. And I'm going to be brutally honest with you, there is no more waiting for the world to prove this belief wrong. It is up to us to shift our perspective, pick and choose our belief system, and create change within our realities. No one will do that for us. It's up to us. So hear me when I say this. You deserve it. So I know your hand has probably not written this much in years, but it's time to reflect and write that little bit more. So I want you to ask yourself these questions while looking at your supporting evidence. Is this the absolute objective truth that applies to everyone with no exceptions? If my child or someone else who I deeply loved came up to me with these beliefs, what would I tell them? Can I find at least one example in the world where the belief I have isn't true? Has there ever been an instant in which this belief did not apply in my life? So knock down as many legs as you can. Pause here to take the time you need to properly dissect your evidence. This is a very key step. So I want to inform you on what is extremely important within this entire process. When we clear out a limiting belief, there becomes this energetic void, which naturally needs to be filled. So it is incredibly important that we step into that powerful place of filling this void ourselves with a belief that serves us. So with that being said, it is time. It's time to show yourself the real truths that support you in this life. So take a look back at that vision you made. Close your eyes and picture that dream day or dream life that is possible for you to create within the Thirst to Thrive movement. Now, what is your new belief that would reinforce the possibility of what you do want to create and experience in your life? So, what is the actual truth that you explored after knocking down the legs of your table and poking holes in the limiting belief that has been holding you back all this time? Again, I have provided some prompts to help you create this empowering new belief that serves you and the vision that you are about to create. So pause the video here if you need to create your new belief. So, yep, you guessed it. We are now going to build up the legs of your shiny, beautiful new table. So now you can list any evidence that you already have that backs up your new truth slash your new empowering belief. So let's build your new legs. So pause this video now to take a moment to reflect and record any new evidence that comes to you. Before we move on to the last step, I want to encourage you to keep this entire experience fresh in your mind as you're moving forward in your new reality, because new evidence may come up as your reality starts to shift for you. So make sure to bookmark your notebook so you can come back to this activity to continue adding supporting evidence to your new belief as you move towards your dream life. So the final step is to anchor in this new belief. So remember when we went through the awareness piece where we talked about the anchoring of beliefs into the subconscious mind through experiences? Well, now in our final step, we're going to be anchoring in this new belief with intention of how we will be moving forward from here. So think about it. How would the new version of you that has this belief move forward? What is the first initial step you could take that would start the pattern of solidifying this belief in your life? It's time to show up, make changes, make new choices, put your new belief into action, and actually make a plan that serves you. Listen to your intuition and write down the first thing that feels good to you. What first initial action could you take today that would solidify starting your path down the life you truly deserve? I encourage you to reflect on a few following actions that you could take that would help you start out strong in this journey towards a thriving life. So take some time now to pause and write down your intentions to move forward with. So there's actually a second piece to this step. Remember how we feel about this matters. So our feelings are going to be what anchors in our new belief as they are always tied together. So we can use a lot of the same tools that we use to neutralize our emotions to allow them to shine bright and feel the feels of this new belief within our lives. So, today we are not just going to put our new belief into action by planning out our initial steps. We are going to transmute this radiating energy that we are currently feeling to truly anchor in this new belief. So you can choose whatever tool you feel fits best. So you can journal, do some breath work, whatever is calling your name. But I'm going to make a special request that you put on your favorite upbeat song and dance out this emotion. Dancing allows you to process the emotions through movement. And honestly, it just feels so damn good. So take my recommendation or don't, but I hope to hear that you have allowed yourself to feel all of the amazing feels that are opening the floodgates for you to start your well deserved thriving life. So, congratulations, you are free. You are free from all of this hand cramping journaling stuff. But more importantly, you are free from your limiting beliefs. And honestly, with this resource, you are free from all other limiting beliefs that you'll ever face now that you have this tool in your toolbox. So I am so proud of you for making it all the way through this life-changing process, and I can't wait to see what you accomplish in your journey within the Thirst to Thrive movement. Get ready to live out your dream life because I already know you have that thirst to truly thrive. I'm sending you so much love, and I cannot wait to connect with you on our call. Cheers!